The secret to a great 36 hours in Key West has nothing to do with the sea and absolutely everything to do with the people.
As long as you're interesting, we love you.
Now, you met me at the Cameras Ready, one of my favorite gingerbread houses.
I think we're all pretty excited about it, and we want people to return. So once you've got the Keys disease, they call it, or the island fever, it's kind of hard to get away from.
For the New York Times, this is Sarah Wildman. As any self-respecting Key Westian knows, the only way around this 2x4 mile island is on two wheels. I rented myself a bike and steered my way through a lush collection of estates that lead up to the Little White House, a vacation spot favored by President Truman. That night, locals urged me to try the Flaming Buoy, a new home-style restaurant owned by a couple of chatty Cincinnati transplants.
You know, we might as well be in the desert compared to Key West because we're not in Duval Street. We're like in this weird little neighborhood. This is a place you're going to come. You're going to eat stuff that we would have cooked at our house, and you're going to meet our friends, or you're going to meet new friends. And I love that about this place. I love that people like me here.
After an island-style long goodbye, I noticed a poster for a concert series at the studios of Key West, and I headed over to what turned out to be an art-filled space housed in the old armory.
The arts community has a real rich history in Key West. I think there is something about the climate here that inspires people. You know, the light and the beauty and the water. We believe that, you know, the studios is a great place to start.
I'm a piece of work, I'm iron and lace. Shy right up there in your face.
There I caught the second half of a concert by folky Will Kimbrough, and I tried to buy some art from a vending machine. It was 10, but the night had barely begun.
Hey Sarah, what are you ladies up to? I love the word ladies.
I received a text from my friends at the Flaming Buoy, inviting me for a nightcap at the Tiny Orchid Bar, a slip of a joint nestled near the illuminated pool at the Orchid Key Inn on Duval Street. My gin and grapefruit juice was dangerously smooth.
Good morning.
The next morning, I joined Key West's earliest risers to greet the sun.
Here comes the sun. Open the chest, up the shoulders, relax back.
And then I followed their leader to an invigorating yoga class on the beach at Fort Zachary Taylor State Park. Don Bartoloni leads the sun salutations with just the ocean as a soundtrack. Then it was time for brunch. At Sarah Bass, the Florida outpost of the Manhattan restaurant, I discovered a group of women who jokingly called themselves the Real Housewives of Key West.
She's very famous. She's a CNN correspondent.
They were filled with tips, especially for spots to shop. Any stores you guys particularly like? And I never need an excuse to shop. On Petronia Street in historic Bahama Village, I wandered through boutiques like Wanderlust and the established favorite Bésame Mucho, run by a fifth-generation local, or conch, as they call themselves.
Bésame Mucho means kiss me a lot. It's a beautiful Spanish love song. I always wanted it to have a Key West Havana connection because that was Key West's sister city. So I wanted it to be a nice atmosphere that kind of had an old world charm to it.
After checking out a half dozen new little shops, I steered my bike toward the afterdeck at Louie's backyard and watched cruise ships head back out to sea as the sun dipped low. As darkness fell, I headed back to Duval Street to watch the nightlife from the porches of .5 Lounge, a bar and small plate spot above the James Beard-nominated restaurant 915. But for drinks alone and atmosphere, and this town is full of nothing if not atmosphere. I checked out La Tida, where the gregarious Randy Roberts does a 1-hour drag cabaret act.
Honey, a high-class piece like this at any price is cheap.
Small town life quickly makes you feel like a local too. I realized I was at home here when I bumped into a fresh-faced Randy Roberts and Joy, one of my new friends from Sarah Beth's brunch, having an after-hours gab fest at 915.
I love the drink.
which turned into a dance party, which went well into the wee hours. The ever-present roosters of Key West made sure I made the most of my last few hours here. I started with breakfast at Le Crêperie, a French cafe featuring sweet and savory treats. And I ended my visit with a trip to Clarence Higgs Beach, a strip of sand where you can rent kayaks, spy on beach weddings, and soak up the island calm before heading home.